Welcome to Jewish Boy Calls His Mother. I'm your host, Sadia. This is my mother, Ima. Hey, Emma.
Hello, my little honey bunny. Mwah.
How's everything going?
Baruch Hashem, Baruch Hashem. I was gave um gave piano lessons this evening. It's been a pretty good mood when I give piano lessons.
Yeah.
And yeah, I taught the kids Ufaratsta,
Okay.
who was wrestling the piano. But this today I took my car in to be serviced, and it was, oh my gosh, I was supposed to have a 1 o'clock appointment. I got there at 1. Oh my gosh, waiting. I think they finally took me like around 3 or 4, something like that.
Whoa.
Evidently, here's what happened. A lot of people were really upset. One woman I met had been there since 10 o'clock in the morning. Here's what happened. Evidently, for some reason, the dealerships in the area wouldn't take any cars that week. They just wouldn't. So this particular dealership was taking on all the extra load from the other dealers in the area that for some reason decided it was too much for them. They couldn't take any service, service calls that week.
That's really weird.
And it's all done by computer. It's not like you can call the dealership and say, hey, or they can call you. It's all done. It's all computerized. So, you go on the line, you go online, you make your appointment, and that's it. And then you get there and it's like, hey, what the heck is going on here? I had a 1 o'clock appointment. It's like 3 o'clock. I've been here, or a 10 o'clock appointment. It's 12. What's going on? So the man was very nice. He explained us why, and he told us just to come and sit down. And, they really wanted you to, when we got there, they told me like to stay outside with my car, but it got too much. So I went into the building and I was watching my car from the door when one of the managers came over to me and he says, why are you standing around? And I told him what happened. And he goes, oh, he says, listen, he says, he took my name and everything. He says, sit down, take a drink, relax, just relax. And he says, don't worry. He says, I'll call you when it's your turn. He says, no reason for you have to stand around like this. And he explained this other woman came over and was really a young woman, but she was very polite, but very irritated, and told him. And so that's when he explained to us what was going on and why there was such a backup. And we said, oh, we understood then. And so he was telling us that, would you believe, he says some guy this morning who was waiting like for a couple hours, instead of coming over to him and saying, like we were like mentioned what's going on, who were really a little upset, this guy threatened to shoot him.
Oh my gosh.
He said, this guy came over and goes, I'm going to get up my foot. He said, I'll put you on the ground. I'm going. And one guy, he said, came over to him that day and threatened to beat him up.
Oh, wow.
I'll take you outside. Come on, I want to take this on.
I guess there's a difference between the sexes, I guess, in a way. Speaking of getting yourself injured, what has been a stupid way you've gotten yourself injured or hurt, from when you were a kid to an adult?
Well, okay, a few of them. Okay, first, there was when I was a kid. I was somewhere around between 3rd and 4th grade. I remember it was the last day of school the next day. And excuse me, I'm pouring some honey into my tea. By the way, did you hear that if you use a metal spoon with honey, it destroys the natural enzymes?
Did you get this information at InfoWars?
No, a friend of mine who's into like nutrition and health and all that came across the information and said that when you put honey in your tea, you should use either a plastic or a wooden spoon. She goes, don't use a metal spoon. A spoon destroys the enzymes. So that was very interesting. I mean, I know that when you're making a clay poultice for health, you cannot use metal because it works by electric charge. And the metal destroys the electric charge that is naturally occurring in natural clay. So you have to mix the water with the clay with either a plastic or ceramic or wooden spoon. You cannot use metal. That I do know. So it stands to reason that the same thing would be true of honey. So anyway, getting back to how I injured myself stupidly, that our own house in Baltimore City, we used to have this hallway, and the hallway came out into the living room where there was a big couch. So what I used to like to do is I used to like to run from the hallway. And then when I got to the couch, I kind of like, not quite totally flip over, but jump up in the air and land on my hands and head and do a headstand onto the couch.
Oh,
So I have
wow.
the couch cushioning me. So there was this one time I was doing this, and I decided I wanted to do something fancier. And my idea was to jump up in the air, do a total flip, a total somersault, and then land on the couch on my hands and my head, like to land on a headstand on the couch. Well, I missed the couch. And next thing I know, I'm on the floor and my wrist is killing me, and I'm holding my wrist and screaming and crying. I broke my wrist, I broke my wrist, I broke my wrist. Ouch, ouch. My parents come in. And so my parents were the type of people who, they were not quick to go to the doctor unless it was very, very serious. They used to like to, how can I say it, apply their own medicine. And if that didn't work, then they would go to the doctor. So they took my wrist, they wrapped it up in a bandage, and then they made a sling out of a scarf and had me, wear it like that. And I remember the last day of school when everybody wants to sign autographs. This is my right hand. Me coming to school with my arm in a sling and my wrist all bandaged up.
Wait, I have a question though. How old were you again? You were.
I was either 9 or 10.
So what do you mean
Yeah.
by autographs? Was there like a yearbook
Oh,
people
in
would get?
school, it was a thing in school where the last day of school, kids would bring little autograph books
Oh, okay.
that you could buy in the 5 and 10. And they would bring these autograph books to school, and everybody would sign things like "Have a great summer," "Love being your friend," like little love notes to each other. And that was a tradition that went all the way from, oh my goodness, from I think like third grade all the way to I remember my senior year. Senior year, of course, you signed the yearbook, but I remember some of the autographs.
Do
Like
you
one
do you
boy,
still have any of them?
no, but I do remember one autograph in particular, my senior year, where this boy said, "Please always stay the nice girl that you are."
Oh, that's so sweet.
Yeah.
That's adorable.
So anyway, we were talking about, stupid things, you get injured. There was one time as a teenager, I was in college or whatever, I was trimming my bangs with the scissors, accidentally cut into my, right above my eyes, a little scar there to this day. Then there was, as an adult, it was after Purim, I went into the boys' room, your rooms, and I saw you had all over the floor were those little poppers where you pull the string and and there's a spark that it sparks.
Yeah.
It makes a popping sound and it sparks. So I decided to pull one of those strings from one of those little things. I didn't realize I had it too close to my face, and the spark went up in the air and got me right at the top of my eyebrow. And to this day, at the very top of my eyebrow, I'm lacking a couple hairs there.
So a couple injuries in that same eyebrow. So I don't know. I'm trying to do a segue, but it's not working. My other question would be, what job would you not want to have for like $150,000?
The one that I saw on the documentary about the oil tankers in Canada that I think when in the middle of the winter, when the ice is frozen over, I think it might be Lake Ontario, if I'm not mistaken, that they actually drive these oil tankers over Lake Ontario.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't. No, they had a mishap. Remember a number of years ago where it was an early thaw, and one of the oil tankers crashed right through the ice.
Yeah, I think I remember watching. I think it's on the Discovery Channel, Ice Road Truckers. There was another one. Was like I think it's called like the worst jobs or like most dangerous job in the world.
Oh my
And it
God.
was catching
Mhm.
lobsters, I think, out by in Alaska or something. Alaskan crab, I think they were trying to capture.
I think it
Uh,
was it Nova Scotia? Maybe I think you mentioned it was Nova
No,
Scotia.
I think I
Uh-huh.
misspoke beforehand. I think it was
Ah.
the Alaska. It was the Alaskan crab. They were going
Mm-hmm.
to they were trying to get them, and I think a giant wave hit and killed one of the main reality TV stars. This was in
Oh,
the
that's
news like 10
horrible.
years ago. Yeah,
Oh,
I
that
mean,
is horrible.
I wouldn't take any of those, to be honest.
How do they get the crabs? I mean, they don't just lay traps out and then pull them up or something, or
Yeah, where do you think they lay them?
don't they
And then,
just don't they just like throw them overboard and they sink down
correct, where exactly would they do that?
from a boat
I know, and where would that boat be?
on the water on a
And where
river?
in the water exactly?
But what happened? The big wave came and knocked the guy off the boat.
Correct.
Ooh,
Yep. Yep.
ooh. So ever watch what is it called? The deadliest is it Deadliest Catch?
Yes, that's the movie.
Yeah,
That was a TV show where the guy died.
that's
I think the
a
deadliest
National
catch.
Geographics. Yeah, I was watching one a tuna boat.
Oh wow.
Unbelievable to think, what they go through to catch these tuna.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It's incredible. That's why sushi's so expensive. Waka waka waka. Um, but like,
Listen, I'm gonna have to try some tea.
I mean, um, well, I guess what would be like the worst job that like you were ever offered or that you ever did besides Baltimore City Public Schools?
That was yep, that was
Quite a trip.
that was an experience. Yeah, teach there, you can teach anywhere.
Yeah.
Um, I was my job was the store is no longer in existence, but I would say that job I had a pantry pride.
Oh yeah. Yeah. You told me you didn't like it.
Yeah. They had me. They were trying to save money, so they were trying to do this thing where they were keeping stores open till 12 o'clock at night,
Yeah.
and they did that for a few years and realized it was ridiculous because after 9 or 10, you got so few people
Yeah.
that came in, and the electricity and the utilities, and it was not cost effective. But anyway, so what they did was they had me on by myself,
Hmm.
alone, like 12 o'clock at night. And I couldn't, it was hard to clean up because you start to clean up and it was another customer that needed you to slice up some meat. And sometimes I wouldn't be getting out of there until 1 in the morning by myself.
Hmm.
And it was
Wow.
quite frightening. And after a while, I left that job. I figured no matter how much they paid me, it was not worth my safety.
Yeah.
Besides, don't ask we find the deli can. I think we did one of our about one of our podcasts.
Yes.
Some of the customers. Oh, come.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. I mean, it's funny because I know one of my friends, he's a carpenter, and like the injuries that carpenters get, like on average, like it's expected that you're gonna, God forbid, lose a limb. And he unfortunately he got hit with a bandsaw.
oh my!
Um,
What's a bandsaw?
you know those saws that are like round and they're on for wood, and you're supposed to run wood through it.
I thought it was a buzz saw. Is it a buzz saw?
Pretty sure it's a bandsaw. Maybe it's different.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, yeah, you're right. You're right. I was thinking of a bandsaw, which is different.
Right. I was
Uh,
like, flag the moment, flag the moment. The
yes,
son
yes, yes,
admitted his mother was right. Flag the moment.
sure. Um, yeah, no, a buzzsaw. You're right, a buzzsaw. And one of his workers were doing the was cutting some kind of wood, and there was a mishap, and it basically like had issues where like it wound up something wound up hitting my friend. The buzzsaw hit my friend, and like he had to like luckily that he got his fingers reattached, but they were practically off.
Oh,
And that's what's like so scary and so common in like the construction field. Of like you got to be so aware and precise, you know?
Baruch Hashem with microsurgery, that they can
Yes.
reattach these things. Because I remember when I was working behind the deli counter, there was this Russian gentleman, was really sad. This is like, the early 70s, before they really perfected microsurgery. He lost a couple fingers
Mm.
slicing meat.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Oh gosh, it's really, you got to be so precise, got to be so careful. Yeah, so that's that. Um,
Well,
wow.
I don't know if we talked about this when I was opening up. I was opening up a large ham to give it to it, to slice it for a customer, and I needed a knife to open up the package. Did we ever go over this?
No, you never told this to me.
Okay, what happened was the knife slipped
Oh wow.
and hit my hand, my finger, and it was Friday night, very crowded deli counter for Friday night, and I went like this, I picked up my finger, and you could hear all the people in front of the deli counter going, ugh!
Oh God.
So I run into the back room. I very quickly, wash it soap and water, very quickly grabbed a bunch of paper towels and Band-Aids and bandages, and I totally bandaged up. And then I come out to the customer, and I said, "Okay, sir, now how much of that did you want?" And he says, "A quarter pound without your thumb in it."
I love it. That's awesome. Oh gosh. Yeah, like there are so many jobs that you have to, the people like just they do it. They just have to do it, you know? Like it could be difficult, backbreaking, and like they just soldier on. I've seen some people with just, you know, I'm thinking more like cowboys, to be honest, and cattle ranchers and things like that, and farmers,
Ooh.
where it's just like
Oh, I
they're
had
up
some,
to break of dawn.
I had some friends in high school and college
Hmm.
who were farmers in Carroll County. And there was one friend of mine, they were in the middle of harvesting. His brother accidentally slipped, and his hand went into the harvester, into the machine. And of course, they took his hand out right away. They did what they could. And it's like he was telling me his brother's thumb had no flesh on it. You just see the bones. And he said, how part of his hand, he talked about how mangled his brother's hand was. So they, of course, they put him right on the side of the road. They called the paramedics right away. They took him to the hospital. And he told me like how they managed to save his brother's hand in the hospital. That was amazing what they did. He says they took his brother's thumb, his
Hmm.
hand, and they actually made an incision, and they stuck his thumb on his stomach.
Hmm.
And the cells, like the regenerative cells from his stomach, formed around the thumb. And then a few weeks later, they removed his thumb, and he said there was the skin that was on his thumb. Of course, it had to be trimmed. But it said it went for maybe a couple feet.
Oh wow.
And his brother, when the nurses would come in to take care of him, as soon as they turned their back, his brother would purposely take this long piece of skin on his thumb and snap them in the tush with it.
Oh God. Yeah, they wouldn't fly nowadays. That's a Me Too movement right on. Oh gosh. Wow.
So anyway, he was I was talking once to a man who was a doctor in the emergency room in University Hospital downtown.
Hmm.
And he told me that his experience working in that emergency room had totally reaffirmed his faith in God. He says he would see construction workers that would fall from scaffolds, like don't ask like how many feet, and come in with just a bruise.
Oh wow.
On the other hand, he would see people, because a lot of construction, other stuff goes on downtown. He would see construction workers who fell from just a few feet, should not have been injured, and they fell in such a way on their head that they broke their necks and died
Oh wow.
from just a few feet. He says it made him realize that hashgacha pratis, and this was not a Jewish man. It was, Goyish man, regular Goyish doctor, and he said he realized that God, he says, there's got to be a God on this earth that, if it's your time, it's your time. If it's not, it's not.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's kind of funny because you hear all these stories about all these people that like were in tip-top shape, really, really fit, and then have a heart attack at 33, and then you have some people who chain smoke and do whatever and don't really take care of themselves, and they live to like 90. And it's just it's really a crapshoot. Everyone's trying to do what they can to feel like they have some control in this world, but like you really don't. That's what I've noticed.
Well, I wouldn't say that we don't have any control. I would say that the choices we make, the choices we make can determine our quality of life. And you just have to do the best you can. Like, try to, don't smoke, don't drink to excess, try to exercise, try to keep your body at in decent condition. I mean, we're all human beings. That's all you can hope for, and just hope for the best. But as human beings, we have to try the best we can. Okay, we can't just sit back and say, I'm gonna chain smoke, I'm gonna do drugs, I'm gonna this, I'm gonna that, and because that you do have that choice.
I'm aware, but it's just like that's, for me at least, that's what makes me feel that there's some optimism in that, where you don't have to worry so much, you don't have to be scared so much because it's bigger than you. That's why I obviously put in my best every day when I wake up in the morning, but feeling like I could have done this right, I could have done that right. At the end of the day, it's really not up to us. It's it's a crapshoot that we are not aware of.
And we can only plan so much. I mean, you plan as best you can, and sometimes things work out. Sometimes, despite our best efforts, they don't. Like my trip to Milwaukee.
Oh yeah, from last week's episode. Yeah, that must have been really frustrating. But what would make you feel optimistic about the future?
That's a good question. As an Orthodox Jew, I have faith that Mashiach is going to come.
Yeah.
That really helps a lot, knowing that there's there is a future for the Jewish people, and it's a very bright future.
Yeah, especially what's going on right now. But
I tend to want a shiur, not a shear, a shiur for those of you out there who need help with your conversational Hebrew. Shiur about Avias HaMashiach, and the woman, she based it on things that are in the Gemara, and it says in the Gemara that it's like the Avias HaMashiach is like Erev Shabbos, like coming of Shabbos. Like, when do things in the house get crazy? When it's Erev Shabbos and you're cleaning and you're cooking and you're trying to get the house in order and you're rushing and you're rushing and you're rushing, and in fact, there's a thing that it's very common in a lot of from Jewish homes that late Friday afternoon there's a Kabbalistic idea that it's like the Yetzer Hara gives its last shtup.
Yeah.
Before it knows it's going to have to take a vacation for 24 hours, when Shabbos comes. And so people, like, towards the end of Friday afternoon, that's when a lot of couples get into arguments. That's when a lot of, people start screaming at each other, rushing to clean the house, rushing to cook, and, arguments are breaking out. And it's a lot of craziness. And what stops it is the second that the mother of the house lights the Shabbos candles and says the bracha, poof, all the craziness ends, and then
Or
peace comes to the house. So wait a minute. So this she was saying, so the Vias HaMashiach, it says in something in the Gemara, it's going to be just like that. That the closer we get to the coming of Mashiach, the more crazy and topsy-turvy things are going to get in the world, and they're going to get crazier and crazier and crazier until just that one spark. Mashiach is going to come. It's going to happen very quickly, and poof, total peace is going to come to the earth.
yeah, what I was going to say was, or maybe in general, try to find stressless ways to handle preparing for Shabbos. You know, if it takes forever to cook the chicken, maybe try to look into pre-made chicken. If it takes forever to clean everything, maybe start cleaning on Thursday. Like, find other means and methods to like avoid the rush, or in general, learn to just, I don't know, not give too much. Like, to be obsessed with every little nook and cranny and have to have everything prepped and ready by 2 o'clock in the afternoon and yada yada yada. I don't know. I think there's other easier, quicker, more efficient ways.
Could be. Yeah.
You know, it's staring in the face, but no one wants to see it. Like like it's not that difficult. It's very easy to prep things, you know, when you're getting ready for Shabbos and try to run things through and make sure things are taken care of. Just, I don't know, take a deep
And
breath.
also there's also the idea. I think a lot of people try to cram in as much as they can before
Yeah.
Shabbos, so they can come into Shabbos with everything in the week totally finished.
Well, it's also the idea where it's just like you're prepping because you feel like for 25 hours you literally can't do a lot of things, but you feel like you need to do them. The reality is you don't. And once you understand that and you let go of the need to constantly do all those things, you have 25 hours to just let go. And it's not that stressful. You don't need to constantly make sure all the toilet paper has been ripped up and the Luna Falls were taken care of and the chicken, everything. Like, it's just, it's self-made chaos that's unnecessary. Like, I don't do Shabbos goy situations. You know, if a light's off, a light's off. It's the bathroom, it's the bathroom. Like, so what? I'm not going to waste my time trying to run over to like my neighbors, knock on the door, have an awkward conversation, and then do a weird, odd smile. You know, it's so awkward. It's so awkward, and I don't like it. It makes me feel silly, and I just don't like doing it. And it's fine. I don't have to worry about having every single light in my house done. I could deal with some cold chicken. It's not the end of the world. You know, I think that's what people have to realize. Like, they think they need every single amenity and every single comfort. And like, the lack of that amenity is the comfort. You know, I don't need my phone for like those 25 hours. You know, I would like to have my light on by my bed when I read, but I'm only gonna read for maybe about like 5-10 minutes anyways before I go to sleep. So it's just like, okay, fine. So I won't have that. Like, it's that need, it's that chaos that like I think really brings it all together, that causes the problem. You know, and I think we make ourselves, I think we make stories up to give us hope, you know, and I think the idea that everything's going to be topsy-turvy before Mashiach comes, I think everything's been topsy-turvy since the day of since the day we've all been born, it's been topsy-turvy. You know?
I think, well, if you look around, I don't know,
It's getting worse. It's getting worse.
It's getting
I understand.
Yeah.
It's topsy-turvy, but it's just like, I don't know. I think it's always been feeling like it's getting worse. Like, there's this sound. I could send it to you. There's a sound where like you think the pitch is getting higher and higher and higher, but the way the sound is being made, it actually isn't going higher. It's just staying the same. It's in your head that you think it's going higher. Yeah, it's really cool.
What is it? What kind of frequency is it?
I don't know what it is. It goes like it goes da da da. You think the pitch is getting higher, but it's not. It's just the same recording going over and over again, and it's in your head that you think it's going higher.
Gosh.
Yeah. So it's just like, how much of this stuff is really in our heads and how much of the stuff is reality? You know, how much do we need to confront and how much do we really have. I don't know. It's just it's these thoughts I have in my head where like some part of me doesn't believe in a lot of stuff. I think it's just we're all in, a crapshoot, and we're all hoping on some resemblance of control and order in this world, but there really isn't anything. Like there is, but there isn't. You know what I mean? Like there's deeper levels to it that we don't understand.
Oh, I'm
You know,
sure.
like I don't
Of
think I
course.
think when I hear Midrashim and this, that, and the other, in the Gemara here and story here and there, it's just like you take it with like a grain of salt. Um, I feel, you know,
Depends.
yeah, I guess.
Depends. It depends. I mean, Rashi quotes Medrash.
Yeah, everyone quotes Rashi too. It's just, it's like you can't. I don't know. You can't take it. Don't take it at face value. You kind of have to, take it with a grain of salt and just let it be. Um, but I don't know. It makes me think of like different hypotheticals. Like if you had a start over button, like where would you start over?
Start over button.
You hit the button, get to start over, but you have to start over at a certain point in time.
The day I got married.
Wow. Alrighty. Thank you, listeners. Um, yeah, I guess. I don't know. I would probably start over in my early 20s just to like refix everything.
Well, something, I think back to like jobs I had where I feel like I should have been more cooperative.
Yeah.
And just do what the boss says, and just get it over with, and just stop fighting and arguing so much. And then it occurred to me that I do get that chance every
Hmm.
day. I mean, not can't go back and redo that job, but in the jobs I have now, I can certainly be a lot more cooperative with the people that I'm working with.
Yeah.
So I can, yes, I did learn that, so that I can do.
Yeah. I
And
mean, I get to,
as a teacher also, I find myself I'm much more positive and easygoing than I was when I first started teaching, especially music.
yeah. But that comes with time. That comes with and that's the thing. It's the most frustrating thing. It's like we all regret the mistakes we've made, but the only reason why we regret them is because we've realized what they were and fixed them. You know, like we probably have major blind spots now. We're looking at ourselves and looking at what we could do better and whatnot.
Mhm.
But like, yeah, because I feel the same way with my field, where it's like I definitely feel more confident now. I definitely feel more capable now that I wish I had my capabilities and put them into my degree, because what I had in school was so rudimentary and so like immature that it's almost laughable and a little frustrating to look at.
I think we discussed this one time, one of our podcasts, about how the problem with um, education, with our college
Yeah,
education, is a college education unfortunately does not prepare you for really working in that profession. It doesn't really give you practical, like the practical experience you really need to succeed in that field
yeah. We've
and
talked about
graduate.
that. I
I think
think we've
I think a
mentioned,
lot of people feel that way about their professions.
yeah. And I think also we've talked a lot of different things in the podcast that we've done before. What's crazy is in like a couple of weeks, it's going to be our 3-year anniversary.
Woo!
We're doing this for 3 years. Crazy,
Shall we
right?
pop open a bottle of champagne?
We'll see. Um, but yeah, it's just I definitely feel with I mean with the podcast, it's definitely grown. It's definitely gotten bigger. Um, and so for for the last part of our segment, I was going to ask you, um, your nonstop snack.
Well, I told you I have to keep away from taco chips because once I, eat them. In fact, remember, there's I forgot what it was. There was some corn chip commercial or something where once you eat them, you've got to eat them all or something. You can't stop I forgot what
It
how the
was once you
commercial
pop, you
went.
can't stop.
What's it called?
Once you pop, you just can't stop. I think it was Pringles had an ad campaign called once you pop, you just can't stop. And because the Pringles can pops up.
Um, I don't know if it was Pringles, but I think it was like a corn chip. And I noticed something with corn chips in general. When I start with corn chips, it's like I can't stop. And I was reading an article about corn snacks in general, that the corn, there's releases this natural sugar that it has, and that like triggers the body to crave more.
Interesting.
And I also
That's with corn.
yes, with corn, yeah. But what I really like, I'll tell you, I like pretzels. I like especially I like pretzels. Those honey, those honey pretzels that are twisted, little honey pretzels that are
Yes,
twisted.
yes, there are those.
Yeah, yeah, I like those very much. I think they make a very good snack. I mean, they make a very like a good, like if I'm stuck in an airport like I was a couple of weeks ago.
Oh yes, of course.
Yeah. I couldn't find those pretzels. The only pretzels I was able to find that were not OUD were the what's they're called, the pretzel chips.
Yes,
Yeah.
the they're
And
called
I
Wetzels.
was so hungry. I ate a whole bag of them, and they were really too salty. But
Mhm.
I couldn't I didn't care, even though they were very salty and I couldn't stand them. I was hungry, and I just ate that whole bag.
Oh wow. Um, so what is an untrue, overused saying that you are just sick of hearing?
Hmm. You get these questions.
I have my sources.
Yeah, I bet you go on the internet, don't you, and look them up.
Don't say anything. Don't say anything too much. People are gonna find out. We gotta keep quiet. Me and you, Ema.
Reminds me of what? Remember that movie Secret Admirer?
No.
Where I think it was Zac Efron. I think started it, and Gina Davis, not mistaken. But
Okay.
anyway, he's trying to impress this girl and get her attention that he has this mad crush on, and this other girl who's like not as attractive, like a plainer type girl. He's friends with her, so he wants her. He writes these love letters,
Mm-hmm.
and he gives this girl the love letters to put in the locker of this girl that he has this crush on.
Okay.
And so, the way that he writes his letters, he gets all these like Valentine greeting cards, and he gets them off these greeting cards.
It's cute.
And then when he gives the letter to his friend, who's a very intelligent girl, she opens up the letters, of course, before she passes them on to this other girl who she's friends with. And she reads them and she goes, "Oh, God."
Okay.
And so she goes and she writes the love letter. And she's a very good creative writer. So she
Mm-hmm.
writes these beautiful love letters and gives them to her girlfriend, who the guy's got the crush on. And the girl totally falls in love with the guy without seeing him, because she reads these beautiful letters, not realizing it's her friend who's writing these letters.
It's very cute.
Watch the movie sometimes. It's pretty funny. It's called Secret Admirer.
I'll check it out. I'll definitely check it out.
It's a cute little love movie. It's pretty funny. What was the question?
We're out of time already. Anyways, love you, Ema.
Good night. Love you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.